cabinet is to discuss a possible merger between the Volta River Authority and the Bui Power Authority. The merger is being proposed to consolidate efforts at increasing hydropower generation. Now, 600 megawatts of power is expected to be generated by Bui in 2018. The move is to help push the renewable energy agenda of government.
Government in a cabinet meeting on the 11th of December is expected to commence talks on a possible merger between Bui Power Authority BPA and the Volta River Authority VRA.
There were some additional requests in terms of the works itself, which brought about the need for additional loan, which was passed by Parliament. It was not just BPA which went ahead to negotiate, but they took the request to Parliament. There was a long debate over it, which lasted for, I think, a month or so. And finally, Parliament gave approval.
Chief Executive Officer of the Bui Power Authority, Auth, however, says it will be unfortunate to do that, especially when Bui is leading the renewable energy campaign. This came as a result of government's efforts at consolidating all activities of hydropower generating companies. If this occurs, the Bui Power Authority will come with a buyer's credit of over $200 million to pay for loans it contracted for the establishment of the hydropower plant. Authorities say so far the power plant has generated over $335 million through sale of power. The Electricity Company of Ghana, for instance, owes the Power Authority as much as over $92,000, which constitutes a quarter of the total buyer's credit.
It was never intended to be at par with VRA. Never. We just about 20% of VRA. But we have the capacity, because of where we stand today with the solar, if we are allowed to grow on the trajectory that we found ourselves, the various people we are talking to, the various sites we have acquired in the 3 northern regions, which will be capable to give us more solar energy than has been planned nationally. If we are allowed to grow, I am absolutely certain that in the next 5 years or so, you'll be talking to a very huge authority.
Chief Executive Officer of BPA, in what looked like an appeal to government, said the company was profitable and it will be unfortunate to merge it with VRA.
In the concessionary loan that Ghana government is paying, there's been an agreement that has been executed between Ghana government and BPA that when we finish paying the buyer's loan, they would have finished paying the concessionary loan, but they would let us pay. So it's being unlent to us, but we are not paying until we finish paying the buyer's credit. I didn't think that was necessary. But it also tells you how profitable even government acknowledges that this investment is. That the loan that they even took to do other things ancillary to the dam itself, they're saying you have to pay for it.
Meanwhile, the Bui Power Authority is yet to begin the generation of solar and wind power.
Now, the nation's biggest oil marketing company, GOIL, says plans are far advanced to finalize the process of constructing a multi-purpose bitumen plant in Ghana. The plant, when completed, will process bitumen to serve Ghana and some neighboring West African countries to aid road construction. Ebenezer Sabute has more on this development. Indigenous oil marketing company GOIL says plans are advanced to finalize the process of constructing a multi-purpose bitumen plant in Ghana. The plant, to be sited at Tema in the Greater Accra region, will be the first bitumen processing plant to be built by an oil marketing company in the country. It is expected to produce about 10,000 metric tons of bitumen per day. Chief Operating Officer of GOIL, Alex Josiah Azio, has been explaining to Joy Business how this development will impact the road construction sector.
We have gone very, very far, and I'm sure not too long you will see us, cutting the sword for the construction of the bitumen plants. And I can assure you it is going to be one of the modern plants you can ever have in the country. And we are looking at the new trends in bitumen not just what we have currently on the market, but the new trend, the new development in Europe and then in the US, that will help improve our road network and also bring the cost of road construction down. That is our main focus, and we believe that it will be in the interest of the country to support us as well.
The Chief Operating Officer also revealed some strategic plans by the company to add value to its operations in the future.
What I would say is that we'll continue with our strategy of expansion. We'll also look at competitive pricing. We'll look at the quality of our products on offer, and then service delivery as well. And then also try and diversify, go into other areas that will bring in a lot more value to our shareholders. This is something that we pledge to do, and we hope that as we diversify, we'll go into other areas where we think will bring enormous benefits to the company.
Guel is currently number 3 on the Ghana Club 100 rankings for corporate Ghana. Licensing of LPG bottling plants is now expected to be completed in January to pave way for the full implementation of the new distribution model in August. This will see LPG distributed to consumers through retail outlets that also take deliveries from the bottling plants to be sited away from highly populated and commercial areas. The Chief Executive of the National Petroleum Authority, Hassan Tampoli, says the Stakeholder Implementation Committee has so far taken key decisions to ensure successful rollout.
The new cylinder recirculation model replaces the current distribution method in use. It is part of measures put in place by government to forestall frequent fire disasters at LPG filling stations, which continue to destroy life and property. Despite several agitations by LPG marketers across the country, government is keen in rolling it out. CEO of the National Petroleum Authority, Hassan Tampoli, says government will complete the licensing regime for the new distribution model by December next year for full implementation to commence in August.
And what we are doing is to be able to get the licensing framework ready in January, in time to be able to issue out the first set of licenses, so that we have been assured by those who have been in the business before that it takes about 6 months minimum and about 9 months maximum to be able to put together a bottling plant. So if we are able to roll out and start granting the licenses in January, all things being equal, by August we should have some of the LPG bottling plants in place. And we anticipate that each bottling plant should have a minimum of minimum capacity to bottle about 2,000 LPG cylinders in an hour.
Mr. Tampoli disclosed that government is yet to settle on companies to be licensed in the bottling plant.
We haven't settled on particular companies. What we have seen a lot of companies show interest in the policy, and on the basis of that, we are going to look at the framework that we have put together. We have put together the licensing framework for LPG bulk distribution companies, and then the LPG bottling plants, the LPG distribution companies, the LPG transportation companies. We have a draft licensing framework which will fine-tune in the course of the holidays, so that by the second week of January, we would have reviewed all the license applications that have come through and see which ones qualify and meet the minimum standards, and we'll start granting the licenses.
LPG marketers in the country are threatening a demonstration this week if the Ministry of Energy fails to address their concerns.
In other news tonight, mobile financial service is set to become the main driver of government's agenda to attract more of the unbanked into the financial sector. That's the prediction of the head of MTN Mobile Financial Services, Eli Hene. He spoke to Joy Business at the MTN Awards ceremony for mobile money agents.
According to the head of MTN Mobile Financial Services, Elihene, the mobile cash service is fast evolving into a tool with the potential of transforming Ghana's financial sector in the next few years. He said the evolution should make mobile financial transactions more efficient to the benefit of the economy. He spoke with Joy Business at the MTN Award ceremony for mobile money agents.
The service itself has transitioned. When we started, it was a money transfer service. Now it does so many things. You buy T-bills on using your mobile money wallet. You earn interest on your mobile money wallet. You do savings on your mobile money wallet through Yellow Save. And we are also able to buy treasury bills now using your mobile money wallet. So the service itself is evolving. And just recently we've added payment of water bill to the service. So into the future, we want the service to be very transactional, wallets to be transactional. People should use it for their everyday payments, and that we believe is the future of the business. And through that medium, many more people will find the service most convenient.
Speaking of the award ceremony, Elihene explained to Joy Business some moves MTN has taken to reduce cases of fraud in the mobile money sector.
We have come up with a number of educational and awareness tips to make sure that our customers are aware of the scammers and they take care of themselves, because it's important that whilst we work to enhance security on the platform, our customers and agents also play their role, because they have a role to play.
Notable eSolutions was adjudged as the overall best mobile money super agent and received a motorbike as his prize.
Now, President of Group Ideal, Dr. Nico Tejani, is renewing calls for the development of a single agenda for the growth of the economy. He said this is very necessary considering the kind of growth the country is recording compared with advanced economies. He shared these thoughts with Joy Business after he was recognized by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana. There's more in the following report. Many development experts have advocated a national development agenda for the country as the best way to develop. President of Group Ideal, Dr. Nico Tejani, has renewed calls for the development of a common agenda as a nation. According to the member of the Council of State, there will be better economic growth if one development agenda is used by successive governments.
If you look at the kind of resources we have as a continent, we should not be experiencing this level of poverty. But what do we do? What do we see? That they take decisions, African leaders unfortunately take decisions that will make them win an election rather than will improve the life of the people. And so for me, it's saddening me that we need to have a national and continental agenda. We need to know where we are moving to and what we want to achieve. We can say rather than everybody come and decide what he or she wants to do. We cannot develop like that. Somebody has started a road, and the person is not in power, and then somebody can say, I'm not interested in the road. I'm interested in classroom blocks. And so if you put value on uncompleted projects in this country, it's appalling.
Dr. Nico Tejani spoke to Joy Business after he was recognized by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana, CIMG, at the 28th Presidential Dinner Dance in Accra. The event for this year, under the theme Data-Driven Marketing for Competitive Advantage. Kojo Mata is president of the CIMG.
Whether we like it or not, all marketers need to dig into the numbers in order to improve their marketing campaigns. The ability to successfully analyze data collected through the technologies you use for marketing is an approach not many marketers have taken the time to discover. But those who have are welcome with new and better marketing opportunities. One of the best things about data-driven marketing is using it to gain a competitive advantage. The ability to know how you rank against your competitors and how you can surpass their marketing initiatives is power that different types of marketing data has provided to businesses. Ladies and gentlemen, it is heartwarming to observe that some notable Ghanaian businesses have adopted and are appreciating the relevance of data in their marketing plans. The decision of Data Bank and Melcom to fill a gap in their respective areas of business certainly lends itself to ability to explore and identify the needs thereof. Without careful analysis, these and other similar organizations couldn't have succeeded in their enterprises.
Other members of the CIMG also received recognition for their contribution to marketing in Ghana. Turning to food matters now, and the Institute of Statistical, Social and Economic Research, ISER, has raised concerns over the shortfall in maize production in Ghana. In a report on the health of Ghana's maize sector, the policy think tank feared the output from Ghana's maize production could be overtaken by foreign investors. According to the Institute, Ghana's maize yield gap currently stands at 78%, a development which could pose a potential risk for food security if not checked. Charles Aite has been speaking with some officials of ISER on this issue.
Stakeholders in the agri industry together with ISER, have come up with a specific, workshop to explore the challenges in the agricultural sector, specifically in maize production. And of course, it's going to be exploring the maize yield gap in sub-Saharan Africa with also some focus here in Ghana. And of course, we've caught up with two of the speakers, one from the University of Ghana and the other one from, a different university outside of Ghana. He shall be introducing himself to us. So we shall be exploring the impact of this very workshop and the key stakes that, of course, faces Ghana's maize production sector. And I shall speak starting with you, Professor. First of all, help us understand the issue of maize, the maize yield gap, not just in sub-Saharan Africa, but in Ghana. What's the current situation?
But currently, the yield of maize is about 1.7 tons per hectare, whereas the potential yield is about 14 tons per hectare. So there's a very big yield gap of about 12.5 tons per hectare.
And should we be worried?
Yeah, we should not be worried too much because there is a potential to close this yield gap.
We should not be worried?
Yes, because there is a potential to close the yield gap.
And what's the potential?
We can close this yield gap through improved crop management practices and also through policies. And I think that is what the current government is doing by providing credit for farmers, by introducing improved varieties of maize and also subsidizing fertilizer.
I will be coming back to you on, the cost element related to this very development and how best we can, come together to achieve this. But let me rope in yourself, Doctor. First of all, introduce yourself to us.
Yeah, my name is Roel Jongeneel. I am an agricultural economist from Wageningen University in the Netherlands and also a participant in this project.
You have been engaging several stakeholders in the agri sector, I believe not just in Africa but across the world, and you have seen best practices in that regard. What's the situation of maize yield gap, not just in Africa but here in Ghana?
The situation here is that, as already explained by Samuel, is that the yield gap is quite large. As compared to the European situation, it's a much different picture, which is on the one hand bad news, on the one hand good news. The bad news is that for this reason the production is at this moment low and could have been much better already. The other thing is that the good news is that you have a lot of room for improvement, and given also the rise in demand, expected rise in population, rise in demand, it's very urgent also to take the policy and the measures to make these improvements.
So speaking about policies and measures, of course, as I stated earlier on, the issue of costs, analysis comes in here. How much of a cost are we losing as a country in all these issues of the maize yield gaps, especially related to post-harvest losses?
Yes, it's estimated that about 30% of our maize is lost through post-harvest. And already the yield gap is quite high. And if we continue to use this quantity of maize, about 30%, that means that we are losing a lot. However, this can be closed through improved crop management practices and also through policies. Currently, the extension to farmer ratio is quite low, and most of the extension officers that have gone on retirement have not been replaced. and therefore the government need to increase the number of extension officers so that they can reach out to the farmers with improved technologies.
You have, you just heard, Dr. Nsia, they're raising issues with institutionalized failures in this very regard. What do you think, from your own perspective, could be the best solution to the key challenges facing the, maize sector here in Ghana?
I think the first one probably is to use improved seeds and access to these improved seeds. And then, say, second is the, I think the access to knowledge and fertilizers, where there is of course already the program of input subsidies on fertilizers, but I think it can be improved upon. In particular, when you combine this with the improved seeds, I expect that it could give a quick rise to the yields of maize.
Finally, to you, Doctor. I mean, this very workshop seeks to come up with specific policy regulations. Could you run us through some of them?
Some of them are improved access to credit by farmers so that they can have money to purchase their input, and also introduction of improved maize varieties, particularly the hybrid maize, and also investment in research and development to come out with improved varieties of maize and also improved technologies that the farmers can use to improve their yields.
Thank you very much, both of you gentlemen, for your insights here with us. So there you do have it. We shall be following closely this development because, of course, maize remains one of the main staple here in Ghana and, of course, across some specific economies in sub-Saharan Africa. So we shall still be following through this very workshop to give you updates as and when we do have them.
All right, so you had Charles Aite there speaking with ESA officials on the shortfall in maize production. Let's talk about a staple that could have potential. Now, crop scientists who develop cowpea varieties at the University of Cape Coast are appealing to government to include cowpea as one of the crops selected under government's Planting for Food and Jobs program. They say the cowpea crop consumed by majority of Ghanaians is capable of solving the country's food security challenges. Project Manager Dr. Aaron Tete Asari of the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology made the appeal on behalf of his colleagues after inspecting an 8-acre cowpea production cultivated by inmates of the Ankafo Maximum Security Prisons. Richard Kojunyako has more.
Cowpea is the cheapest source of protein for everyone in both rural and urban communities in Ghana. But cowpea production in the country is very low in spite of the high consumption of the crop in Ghana. It is consumed in most homes and very common to find people patronizing wachi and gari and beans. The nutritional value of the crop is said to be very healthy compared to meat. But the worry many scientists have is that most of the cowpea consumed in the country are imported from Burkina Faso and Niger to supplement that of the local market. Under government flagship project, the Planting for Food and Jobs, the scientists and the project managers were expecting cowpea to be selected among the list of crops under the project, but the crop is conspicuously missing in the list. The project manager, Dr. Aaron Tete Asari of the Department of Molecular Biology and Biotechnology, is appealing to government to include in the list of crops since it will cut down the importation of the crop and have other beneficial uses for the country.
And in the school system, the feeding programs by government, cowpea is the main source of protein in the diet. When it comes to the prison service, the prisoners consume a lot of cowpea in the diet, in their daily diet, in the sense that fish is expensive to buy fish to feed them. I must say that cowpea production in Ghana is relatively low. It is known that we are expected to consume 169,000 tons of cowpea annually, and it's so interesting that the government has launched this flagship program, planting for food and then job creation. And this cowpea is very strategically fit into the government initiative. It's unfortunate that it's not among the selected crops that the government has earmarked to increase in terms of seed improvement and all that. But we have gone ahead to make seed improvement products ready. And so I want to take this opportunity to appeal to government to incorporate cowpea, because among all the crops that have been listed, cowpea should have been the major leguminous crop. And so this is a passionate appeal, and all support that is needed for this product to go out for farmers to have access to cultivate should be given onto us.
Recently, after the training of farmers on the various varieties of the crop of the cowpea species, the farmers were given the opportunity to select the best improved cowpea varieties of their choice to be developed for planting in their respective farms. Among the farmers were authorities of the Ankafor maximum security prisons. They expressed interest, and today the maximum security prisons at Ankafor can boast of 8 acres of cowpea to feed the inmates. ASP Isaac Tete is the officer in charge of agriculture at the Ankafor maximum security prisons.
The crop has helped a lot. Already we've been cultivating this crop, and one way in particular that this crop is helping is the nutritional value of the food that we take. We are all aware that cowpea has protein content, and our inmates need this protein content to perform.
You're watching Business Live. Time now for our 8th interview of the day. And operators of small and medium enterprises are being challenged to adopt the green business concept to grow their ventures. The concept of green business involves the proactive adoption of environmentally friendly practices to ensure efficient use of resources. This includes waste management and recycling companies. The UN University Institute for Natural Resources in Africa is one of the institutions leading this advocacy, and policy fellow Dr. Eric Chum tells Joy Business the economic opportunities presented by the green business concept cannot be overemphasized.
About access to funds, it's always the problem that people always come with. But there's a basic problem that we have not addressed, and that is coming up with concepts and models that are business friendly. In other words, we should actually put in much more thinking and innovation and ask ourselves, if I'm a businessman, will I be willing to put money into this kind of business? In other words, is it sustainable? Does it make economic sense for someone to invest in it? Once those proposals make sense for investment, definitely you will always have access to funding. As a country, we are not broke. We have a lot of investment opportunities, but we need to develop proposals that are business friendly and makes economic sense for anybody to invest in it.
So some people believe that green business is counter to doing good business. Is it really true?
I don't think it is counter to doing good business. It is actually the reverse. It's actually a sustainable way to manage your business.
And thanks for watching our program tonight. My name is Darryl Kwao. We are back same time tomorrow.